Hello and welcome to this introductory course into the fascinating and exciting topic of large language models. This course has been designed for those who want to expand their natural language processing capabilities by learning how we can harness the amazing power of large language models. By the end of this course, you'll understand how these models work and how to start applying them to your own project. I'm thrilled that you've chosen to take this course with me. Let's first go over what you can expect to learn and what skills you'll leave this course with. The first section of the course will introduce the concept of large language models. We'll cover what they are, what they can do, and start to look at how they work. Section 2 of the course will do a deeper dive into the workings of an LLM as we introduce the concept of transformers. Transformers are the breakthrough architecture that has allowed the rise of LLMs in recent years. Once we understand this transformer architecture, we can start to experiment with LLMs. And in Section 3 of the course, we'll start working with GPT models. We'll also look at how we can integrate our own custom data with these models using LangChain, a powerful and exciting new framework for working with large language models. Being able to add your own data to a language model is going to give you so many options for working with them. Next, we'll move on to introducing the Hugging Face package. This is a key Python package for working with large language models. The final 2 sections of the course will put all of this together into some practical lessons, where we'll experiment with 2 other types of language models, so you'll have loads of examples to add to your portfolio. So let's embark on this journey into large language models together. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Lauren Newbold, and I've been working as a data scientist for several years, for large organisations such as the BBC, as well as small startups using natural language processing in unique and innovative ways. I'm passionate about getting people excited about data and the opportunities it can provide us. Now that I've introduced myself and a little bit about the course, let's get started with the first lesson and look at what we mean when we talk about large language models. In recent years, it's been hard to escape large language models, as they've been all over the global news. One of the most famous models in this realm is OpenAI's ChatGPT, which has dominated the news with its ability to write poetry, essays, social media content, code, and so much more. GPT and similar models have even been employed to translate languages in real time during international events and aid in disaster relief efforts by quickly translating vital information into multiple languages. Large language models have also found their way into the world of healthcare, aiding in medical research and diagnosis. Whether you're an experienced NLP developer or not, it's been hard not to have heard of LLMs. But what exactly are they, and why are they causing such a stir? To put it very simply, imagine you give a computer access to the entire internet and tell it to learn everything it reads, as well as using this as a method to learn the structure and grammar of language. This isn't exactly how an LLM works, we'll come on to that later, but the outcome is the same. You're left with a machine that has great general knowledge. And not only that, but the machine can actually talk to you about what it knows. You can ask it questions or give it a language-based task, and the machine will understand your question and be able to give you an appropriate response. Large language models represent a transformative breakthrough in the field of artificial intelligence and natural language processing. These models are a testament to the remarkable progress made in machine learning, enabling computers to understand and generate human language at an unprecedented scale and complexity. At the heart of these large language models lies deep learning, a subset of machine learning that mimics the human brain's neural networks. However, what really led to the massive innovations we see today is a type of model architecture known as a transformer. This is a novel way a machine can learn the complexities of language, and transformers are the reason the models we see today have such amazing results. There are 3 main features to a large language model which makes them unique. The first aspect, as you might have guessed by the name, is that large language models are, well, large. Compared to other models we've seen before, these models are massive in size. Their size is one of the aspects that allows for the amazing results we've seen from large language models. The second aspect of LLMs is their general purpose, and the third is that they're able to be pre-trained and fine-tuned. Now, let's move on to our next lessons where we go over each of these features in more detail. As I mentioned in the last lesson, large language models are characterized by their immense size. By size, we're not talking about physical space. The size of an LLM is measured by the number of parameters it has. But what does having a large number of parameters mean? Imagine you're teaching a robot how to play a really complicated game. To do that, you need to give it lots of instructions and rules on how to play the game. Each of these rules is like a piece of information that the robot needs to remember. Now, think of the parameters in a large language model like those instructions and rules. They are tiny bits of information, kind of like building blocks, that help the model understand and generate language. But here's the thing. Large language models have a huge number of these tiny building blocks, like millions or even billions of them. The more parameters a model has, the better it can understand and work with language. It's like having a bigger and more powerful brain for language tasks. So, when we say a model has lots of parameters, we mean it has a massive collection of these little pieces of information that make it smart when it comes to understanding and using language. The most famous LLMs contain millions to billions of parameters. For instance, BERT, a large language model developed by Google, has 345 million parameters. And GPT-4 gets even bigger at 1.7 trillion parameters. Large language models are also trained on huge amounts of text data. The more text a machine is given to read, arguably the more successful it's going to be at learning the complexities of language. So, LLMs are trained on massive amounts of text data from the internet. It's like they read the entire internet itself, but just really, really fast. This text data includes things like books, so large language models will read tons of books on all sorts of topics, from adventure stories to science textbooks. They also go through websites like news articles, blogs, and even social media posts to see how people talk online. They study Wikipedia articles to learn about facts, history, and general knowledge. They also look at how people chat with each other online to understand how language is used in everyday communication. There's also a few other bits that they'll go through, so like recipes, movie reviews, and scientific papers. By taking in all this text data, large language models learn the patterns, grammar, and vocabulary of human language. It's like how we learn to speak by listening to others and reading books, but large language models do it on a much larger scale and much, much faster. The second aspect of a large language model is that it's general purpose. When we say that an LLM is general purpose, we mean that the model has been trained on a wide variety of text data from the internet, and it's designed to understand and generate human language in a broad and versatile manner. It's not specialized for just one thing. It's a multi-talented language tool that can assist with many different jobs involving words and communication. If you've worked with much machine learning before, you'll be familiar with training a model for a specific task, such as classification or clustering. But with LLMs, the initial goal is to give the model a general understanding of knowledge and how language works, so that it can be applied to more specific tasks later on. We pre-train the model to understand general language and solve many general-purpose problems. Then we can fine-tune it to work on specific tasks or industries. Now, let's do a deep dive into what we mean into pre-training and fine-tuning these models. So, what exactly do we mean when I say that we pre-train and fine-tune a large language model? Well, think back to when you were in school. To start, you learn a broad range of subjects and topics to get a base understanding of the world around you. However, later, as you choose your career, you'll have focused your attention to more specific subjects focused on that career. You still reference what you learned in those early years at school and build on it to understand new knowledge related to your specific field. It's kind of the same concept with LLMs. They're pre-trained to solve a variety of language problems and then can be fine-tuned to work in specific fields such as media, finance, transport, etc. In the pre-training phase, the large language model is exposed to a massive amount of text data from the internet. It learns the basis of language, like grammar, vocabulary, and common sense by predicting what words come next in sentences. This is similar to you learning how to speak, write, and get some general knowledge in your early school years. Once the model has a good grasp of the basics, it can be customized for specific tasks. For example, you might want it to be really good at answering medical questions or helping with customer service inquiries. In the fine-tuning phase, the LLM is trained on a smaller, more specialized dataset related to the specific task that you want it to do. It takes the skills that it learned during pre-training and it gets better at the specific task you want it to do. You can almost think of it like you taking this course now. You'll still kind of reference that very early stuff that you learn in school, but we're really specializing your skills now with this course. Because large language models have been pre-trained on such large amounts of data, they can often even do well on tasks without any additional industry-specific data. They can be used for what is known as few-shot or zero-shot scenarios. A few-shot scenario is where we use minimal data to train a model, and zero-shot is where the model can recognize things that it's not been explicitly taught in the training before. So in some cases, you're able to use an LLM straight out of the box without any additional data. So now that we have an idea of what LLMs are, let's have a look at some applications. The novel thing about large language models is that one model can be used for a variety of tasks because they have been trained on such large datasets with so many parameters. They're able to learn a lot. Let's run through some examples of the kind of things large language models excel at. The first is content creation. Large language models can write articles, blog posts, or even creative stories. They generate text that reads like it was written by a human author, making them handy tools for content creators. LLMs can also translate text from one language to another. You can type in a sentence in one language, and the model will provide a translation in your desired language. Many translation apps on your phone will use a large language model behind the scenes to provide real-time translations when you travel or communicate with people who speak different languages. LLMs are also great at answering questions for you. You can ask a model questions on various topics, from historical facts to solving math problems, and they'll do their best to provide accurate answers based on their extensive knowledge. You can also use LLMs to create chatbots and virtual assistants that can hold conversations with users and customers, answering common queries and assisting with tasks like setting reminders or finding information online for you. LLMs can even analyze text. So, for example, they can pull out the sentiment of a text, determining whether a piece of writing is positive, negative, or neutral in tone. This is a useful skill for businesses to gauge customer feedback or for tracking public sentiment on social media. Furthermore, large language models can take long articles or documents and generate concise summaries, making it easier to understand the main points without having to read the entire text. Another thing LLMs can do is content recommendations. They power recommendation systems suggesting movies, books, articles, or products based on your preferences and past interactions. For programmers like ourselves, large language models can also assist by generating code snippets for specific tasks, helping with debugging, or explaining complex programming concepts. In healthcare, these models can assist doctors by analyzing medical records, suggesting possible diagnosis, and even staying updated with the latest medical research. In the legal field, these models can review documents, contracts, and case histories to provide lawyers with quick insights and help identify relevant information. And if you work in marketing, LLMs can analyze customer data to help businesses create personalized marketing campaigns, recommending products or services based on the individual customer preferences. These examples showcase the incredible versatility of large language models. They are like the Swiss Army knives for language-related tasks, able to assist in a wide range of fields, from content creation and customer service to healthcare and beyond.